Let's make sure the lights are up, please.
All right.
The lights at Kirksville are pilot activated.
The airport's without a lot of traffic that goes in and out of them. One of the ways that they reduce the cost of running the airport is they don't have the lights on all the time. The pilots have the ability to control those lights with a series of microphone clicks on a specific radio frequency.
If those lights are not on, particularly when you fly with a low visibility and at night, you won't see the runway. So if you don't see the runway, you can't land.
7 times I clicked it. I clicked it.
They're still too far out to see the lights. Captain Sassy wants to avoid surprises.
What we can do is we can call Kirksville Ops and ask them to confirm they're up.
The pilots confirm with airline operations on the ground.
Kirksville Ops, Corpex 5966.
5966?
Yeah, could you tell me if the approach lights are up?
I would do that when I didn't see the airport and say, hey, did you see the lights coming on for the approach? It's a good technique.
Lights are on.
Cool, thanks.
There was one doctor up in the front who didn't put her seatbelt on. And I wanted to call out to her and say, put your seatbelt on, but I didn't. I wasn't afraid, but I'm a rule keeper and thought she should have her seatbelt on.
2.5 miles from the airport, the pilots search for the runway.
400.
It's very critical to maintain that altitude because if you don't see the runway, you gotta go missed because you cannot land without seeing the runway.
Flight 5966 emerges from the clouds.
350, here we are.
2 miles from the runway, the pilots are still looking for the approach lights.
You are flying 336 feet above the ground, so there's not a lot of room for error.
What do you think? I could see ground there.
I don't see anything.
Oh yeah, there it is. Approach lights in sight.
But just as the pilots appear to have the runway lights in sight,
Flaps 35.
something goes wrong.
No. No! Trees!
What's going on? I just remember thinking, I can't believe this is happening.
No, stop! Oh my God!
Oh, holy crap!
Corporate Airlines Flight 5966 has crashed into a wooded area 1.2 miles south of the airport at Kirksville, Missouri.
When I woke up, it was dark and it was quiet. And the only sound that I could hear then was just the sound of fire. We were suspended up in trees.
Wendy Bonham and her colleague, Dr. Krogh, struggle to escape.
I just felt like I needed to move. I have always had a fear of blowing up, and there was a fire in the back of the plane, and I just thought, I need to get out of this plane before it blows up. I don't remember walking from my seat to the side of the plane. It was a ways down, and there was fire down there.
There is no other way out of the plane.
I don't remember falling from the plane down to the ground. I remember before and after, and I stood up and I could see Dr. Krogh pretty close to the plane, and he was laying down.
The other 11 passengers and both pilots are dead.
They were all really incredible people that did incredible things for their communities, and that's hard for me.
While Captain Spencer makes a sharp descent through the clouds, The plane picks up too much airspeed.
Aerodynamically, flying overspeed by a couple of knots is not really a big deal. Think of it like driving a couple miles per hour over the speed limit in your car.
Airspeed, mate.
Got it.
There are several ways to slow down the airplane. You can increase the pitch of the airplane, and this will reduce the airspeed as the airplane aerodynamically slows down. Additionally, you can reduce the power to the engines.
What have we done? I don't know, mate. I don't know.
An ear-splitting sound makes it almost impossible for the pilots to communicate.
It would be overwhelming. There's loud noises that you're not familiar with. There's smoke. There's warnings being generated by the airplane, and it's all happening at once.
It's overspeeds. Overspeeds. It looks like double propeller overspeeds.
First Officer Wagstaff notices the propellers are rotating too fast. The plane is in a precarious state.
There could be control difficulties, there could be engine damage, and in severe cases, there could be engine failure.
What have we done? It's overspeeding. Number 2 is shut down. I can't hear you.
The crew would have a very difficult time cutting through the noise and trying to identify the initial root cause of these problems.
Finally, the deafening sound dissipates.
You got the left side working? No. Okay, we got nothing.
Both engines have failed. The plane is descending fast.
This crew was faced with a scenario where they lose both the primary and the backup system on both engines at the same time. That backs the crew into a very difficult situation where there is only really one outcome: a forced landing.
A forced landing means the pilots have no choice but to land immediately. 16 miles from Madang Airport, Captain Spencer turns the plane back towards the coastline. He needs to find a safe place to put the plane down.
Tell the tower.
Madang Tower, mayday, mayday, mayday.
Airlines PNG flight 1600, double engine failure, and we're making an emergency landing.
Confirm you are able to make it to the field.
The optimum scenario in a forced landing would be gliding to an airport. Failing that, the next best choice would be landing close to a town or city. This may increase the odds that the airport fire rescue services can attend to both the aircraft and its passengers and crew.
But no such options exist.
Brief him that we're gonna ditch.
Negative, negative, negative. We'll probably be ditching.
A ditching is a forced landing that has to be made in open water. It is the last choice for pilots if an alternative exists.
Flight 1600 is rapidly losing altitude, and time is running out.
Look there, a river.
From altitude, a riverbed may look like a long, safe area to land the airplane in a forced landing situation.
I'll get as close to the mouth of that river as I can.
Airlines PNG 1600, we'll be ditching on a river.
Confirm location.
Controllers need a location so they can send help.
Not sure the name of the river.
The lives of the 32 people on board are at risk.
Pilots will remain focused right until the very end. A pilot will not stop fighting to save their airplane.
Want me to shut both engines down?
Yes, shut everything down.
Shutting down the engines prior to a forced landing off-field could help slow the spread of any post-crash fire that may develop.
Flight 1600 is now a glider. The Dash 8 is only a few hundred feet above the ground.
At a certain point close to the ground, the pilots have to rely on the decision they've made and hope that it was the right one.
Brace! Brace!
Seconds from touching down, Captain Spencer sees a deadly hazard.
Boulders!
All you would have is your eyeballs. What you see from 10,000 feet and 5,000 feet and 500 feet may look different as your depth perception increases as you're getting closer to the ground.
200 feet from the ground, Captain Spencer tries to avoid huge boulders on the riverbed.
Brace! Brace!
The only option is the river bank. Airlines PNG Flight 1600 has crashed into bush near the mouth of the Guabi River. 28 people are dead. Just one passenger and the 3-member flight crew survive.
It was a dry riverbed, so the aircraft broke up into many parts, and then there was a post-impact fire, which destroyed a lot of the evidence.
Midway to their destination, the weather deteriorates.
The weather that Frank and Les encountered trying to get down to Carbondale was much stormier than Springfield. There were level 2 and 3 thunderstorms.
Want me to tune into Cappy real quick?
Sure. Not gonna use that much power.
45 miles from Carbondale, the crew tunes into a signal that will provide a precise bearing to the airport. Meanwhile, air traffic control transfers the flight to the approach frequency for southern Illinois.
Air Illinois Flight 710, contact Kansas City Center on frequency 125.3.
25.3, Roger.
Air Illinois 710.
They were getting close to the airport, and that approach control facility would have lined them up for an instrument approach.
After contacting approach control, the situation worsens.
I don't know if we have enough juice to get out of this.
The radios and transponder on Flight 710 have shut down. The pilots are now on their own.
Illinois 710, I've lost radar contact.
Flight 710 has disappeared from air traffic control's radar.
Illinois 710, Kansas City.
They had no capability at this point to get help. It was probably the most sickening feeling for both of them that you or I could imagine.
Watch my altitude, going down to 2,400 feet.
Concerned their instruments are about to fail, the captain attempts to get below the clouds.
He was desperately hoping that he could see the airport beacon or some runway lights and land that airplane visually.
Just 8 minutes from landing,
You got a flashlight? Yeah.
the batteries are almost depleted.
Here we go. You want to shine it up here?
Trying to illuminate the instruments with a flashlight and a dark cockpit that is very abnormal. And is he pointing it at an instrument that's functioning or one that's not?
We're losing everything down to 13 volts.
Watch my altitude, Frank.
It would have been a total panic situation and realizing that they were out of options.
Okay, 2,400.
Rapidly losing electrical power and operating in total darkness, the pilots of Illinois Flight 710 desperately try to land their plane.
The conditions at Carbondale were such that 1 mile visibility in light rain and fog. His chances of seeing anything were minimal at best.
Do you have any instruments? Do you have a horizon?
They're in a dark cockpit. Instruments are failing. They can't see anything outside. They were now into a critical emergency.
Okay, you're banking left, 6 degrees.
Okay, correcting to the right.
A little more.
Illinois 710, Kansas City, do you read?
I would be very surprised if they knew that they were going to hit. I would be very surprised they saw the ground at all.
Air Illinois Flight 710 crashes 25 miles north of Carbondale Airport. The wreckage is scattered across farmland near the town of Pinckneyville. All 7 passengers and 3 crew members are dead.
We didn't anticipate any issues. It was the same old, I'd say. I probably had taken that flight 3 times already that year.
And gear down. Gear down.
The pilots configure the plane for landing.
Flaps 20. Flaps 20.
Just minutes before touchdown,
Why is that ignition light on? Did we just have a flame out?
the engine ignition light illuminates.
Seeing the ignition light come on during approach would typically raise a concern. If combustion is interrupted for any reason, it's what pilots call a flame out or an engine failure.
I'm not sure what's going on with it.
If there is an engine failure, the pilots need to reconsider landing.
The pilot would have to make the decision whether to continue the approach or abort the approach and see what the problem is.
What do you want me to do? Are you going to continue? Okay, yeah. I'm going to continue. Just back me up.
Captain Hillis decides to land.
All right. Let's go missed approach.
But then, he reverses his decision.
A go-around or a missed approach would have given the pilot more time to run an engine failure checklist. When you're on final, you really don't have that much time to complete it.
Set max power.
Now, at 1,500 feet, Captain Hillis aborts the landing.
When you have an engine failure, you not only lost half your power, you lose 80% of your performance.
Flight 3379 isn't climbing, and it's losing speed.
Lower the nose. Lower the nose.
At 1,400 feet, the plane is stalling.
You got it? Yeah.
They're unable to climb. They're starting to lose directional control of the aircraft.
Flight 3379 is turning steadily to the left, veering further off course.
Lower the nose.
Things are getting bad real fast, and they're running out of time.
Here.
Plunging rapidly towards the ground, the pilots fight to recover their plane.
There's no flight attendant on the plane. There was a lot of commotion. You could hear some kind of warning siren. I was scared. People were scared. We knew we were crashing. I knew we were going down. I just braced myself, literally putting my hand and my foot on the seat in front of me. I had a moment that, okay, I need to survive. I need to live through this. When we crashed, I just remember hitting ground very, very fast, very hard.
Flight 3379 has just plowed through the dense woods of North Carolina. It's now a pile of burning wreckage.
The plane split, literally, in between my seat and the seat in front of me. I can remember taking my seatbelt off and hearing people moaning and people screaming. I couldn't see anything. I don't know if I lost my contacts or I just had fuel in my eyes. I couldn't walk, but my adrenaline was pumping. I was in fight or flight mode. My intuition was that I had to survive. And somehow I got away from the fire.
Folks, air traffic control has asked us to reroute to Mirabel.
Flight 420 is now 7 minutes from touchdown.
At this point, they know that behind them are 9 people, and they're going to do everything in their power to get that airplane on the ground as safely and quickly as possible.
I see flames now. Flames from the engine nozzle.
The situation goes from bad to dire. The engine shutdown should have contained the fire. Instead, it's growing.
When the passenger tells the crew that their engine is on fire, they're puzzled.
Let's get this plane on the ground.
Landing checklist. Flaps.
0.
Speed lever.
High RPM.
Their main focus is to fly the airplane, and fly the airplane.
Fire crews park alongside the runway at Mirabel Airport for the emergency landing of Flight 420. Michel Brisson is one of the first on the scene.
We're waiting for the aircraft. The weather was not too good. We couldn't see far.
Trim set to max.
Captain Provencher is struggling to maintain control. He's flying on one engine with no hydraulics, and his plane is on fire. Now he has to lower the landing gear manually, with no guarantee it will work.
Gear down now.
Gear down.
The nose and right wheels have dropped, but one light stays off.
Left gear hasn't dropped.
No time to sort that out.
Provencher has no choice but to put the plane down on only 2 sets of gear.
If I'm in an airplane fighting fire, an engine that I've shut down, controllability issues, we're not going around. You're landing that airplane on that runway, whether you land gear up or not.
Flight 420 is 1 kilometer from the runway.
The clock is ticking. You have to get down and get that airplane on the ground now.
300 feet.
The moment he gets to about 280 feet, he sees the threshold, he sees the fire trap, and he thinks that he's made it and saved 11 lives.
Prop Air 420 is 20 seconds from touchdown.
There was some smoke coming out of the aircraft, and my heart tightened a bit there, and I said to myself, we got some business here this morning.
Okay, here we go.
200 feet. Hold on back there. It's gonna be a rough landing. Brace! Rolling left.
Not now!
They're just 5 seconds from being able to touch down.
At this point, the crew would be fighting for every breath they have.
Prop Air 420 is almost on the ground at Montreal's Mirabel Airport when disaster strikes.
Within a split second, the aircraft started to go 90 degrees. And that must have been hell. Captain Provencher probably thought that he was going to die.
I saw the aircraft flip over 180 degrees. That was it. I'll never forget the sound that it made when it touched the ground.
Let's go!
The plane crashes into a watery ditch next to the runway.
My first concern was to go to the fuselage to try to save some lives.
Sylvain Carrière was the fire chief at Mirabel Airport at the time of the incident.
As soon as the aircraft crashed, the firefighters were on the move. They put out the fire with the foam, and then they got close to the aircraft, trying to get inside to rescue the victims. It was very tough on the firefighters. They had to deal with trying to manage water up to their waist. They had to break the windows to get vital signs. The aircraft being upside down, and all the seats were dislodged from their footing. So it was total chaos.
Despite the best efforts of rescue crews, no one makes it out of the plane alive.